Okay.
So let's give everybody a second. Did you get a chance to get that book, Barclay, that you were looking for?
No, I still haven't shown up.
No, I know my dope. Did you get my message?
Yeah, you said you were going to send me a Google link or something like that.
Yeah, I told you how to get it.
Wait, did I miss it? Hold on.
I sent you an email. I think I sent you an email.
I'm Barclay Islam.
Peace, love.
Oh, okay. Islam. Okay. Islam. Yeah, I didn't fully.
My Adobe tripping, so I just got to fix it. That's why I was having a problem getting it to you.
Okay.
But I'm gonna get it straight to there if you can't download it.
Yeah, I'm about to try in just a second.
Peace, Brian. We'll give it I say a couple more minutes, and then we'll share the Quran on the page if that okay, Noble Barclay?
Yeah, you want me to put the Quran up?
Yes, please.
Okay.
We'll give it about a couple more minutes. We'll get started.
Okay. Oh, let's see.
Yeah, peace to everybody here on YouTube. Oh, good.
Islam.
Islam Solomon.
Islam, no.
Islam Noble.
Islam.
Did you find the book, Barclay?
I'm still looking for it. Hold on. I came over here and opened up this. Open up my my screen to set up the
Okay.
the screen sharing.
Okay, you make it a little bit smaller, because it's a little bit big. Our face is kind of blocking it, like how you did the other day in class. Let's scoot over to the left a little bit. Yeah. They want to try to scoot it. There you go. Let's kind of scoot over to the left a little bit.
We still have the freezer.
Can you see it?
Can you slide over to the left a little bit, like closer to the small book, because our face is just like kind of blocking some of the words. It'd probably be hard for anybody else to read it. I want to try to keep it on there. There you go. Wait, well, you just had it. Go over to the left a little more, Noble. There you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. Gratitude. Gratitude. Noble Brian, you with us? You here? Can you hear me, Noble? Your sound off. Can you go on live on our page, Noble? Let me know when you're ready. We're going to go ahead and get this Sunday school started, man. How's everybody day?
Excellent. How about yours?
Man, same here, Noble. Same here, man. Excellent. Yep, excellent. No complaints. So I think whoever to log in, they'll log in after we get started, because we gave everybody their grace period. Islam. All right.
Islam.
You want to start off with the Moorish American prayer, Noble?
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protection, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Noble Ali, Shalom Alakim, Ayah, Hotep, Islam, peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 brothers and sisters, all my Moorish family. I want to give gratitude. Today is Sunday, and it's Sunday school, and we do have a holy book, and I always speak of the divine coming first. So if we're going to say we Moorish and we have a divine book or a tool that we adhere to, we should go over that book and that science that's gathered and compiled and divinely prepared, and go over it as master students, and go over all our literature as a body. Islam.
Islam.
So now
Islam.
What chapter are we in right now, Nobles? We're in what
Chapter 5.
We in chapter 5, right? So we went over chapter 1 through 4, and we did the connection with our Koranic study guide, which we're going to do again today. So I just started off a little bit, and then we all will read together, and then we will stop and narrate what we need to talk about and connect the dots, because this is a school and we're here to learn. So if you don't have your pencil and your paper, please do so. Islam?
Islam.
All right. So remember, if anybody is operating with any truth inside of them, if you read your Moorish Quran, if you even took the time to even crack it open and read it, and then read it again and study it and ask questions, your whole demeanor, I think about, not even think, but your understanding of this Moorish science and this divine creed and its spirituality, it wouldn't even be a question of how to operate, because the Moorish Quran is law. And just like in our ADAPT studies on Saturday, we're connecting all levels of law to our Quran. Islam?
Islam.
Okay. So let's just keep that in our hippocampus. And we can do the same thing with the biblical scriptures. That's not hard to do. It's very simple. So in chapter 5 of our Moorish Quran, we're going to get to this, how can I say, we'll get to this area where it talks about after the feast. And if anyone that picks up that Moorish Quran, you can ask them, what does the cover, before you even open the Moorish Quran, I hope we're looking at the signs and symbols. The signs and symbols, the nonverbal communication that a workman, that a scientist should understand before he or she even divulge in opening the book. It should be some questions about the symbology and the warning signs and all these things before we get it. Just like so-called skull and bone, just like when we talk about, when we get into our metaphysics and we get into IDMR in our text, and we start breaking these things down, understanding the symbology and what it means. So our Moorish Quran talks about the 18 mission years of, they want to say Jesus, but we are scholars. It never was a J in the Hebrew dialect. So We understand that. We don't have to get into specific names. We should have a clear understanding of that. But we're not here to destroy. We're here to fulfill. And if we're here to fulfill, that means we're coming from a place. If we're resurrecting, we're coming from a place. We're not here to destroy anything. And that's the whole science of everything that is being noble, is to show who you are in history, in religion, in science, from a perspective of love. Because there's no hate in what we're talking about. We're illuminating the scriptures. We are illuminating the scriptures. So the missing Yahshua, the search for him, his parents find him in the temple. He goes with the Nazarite, just like in the biblical scriptures. This ringleader is this pestilent brother is a ringleader of the Nazarites. And then when you read in your Exhumer of the Nation, and even in the biblical scriptures, when you read who built Solomon's temple, when we get into this Masonic science, who answered the Nazarite call? All you got to do is see Haram Abif. It's very simple. It's right in the teachings. I don't know what we be tripping. I don't know what we be tripping on. We missing the science. He goes with them to Nazareth. Symbolic meaning of what? The carpenter tools. Symbolic. So when we start thinking about symbolic, and when we get down to talking about how biblical scriptures is written, and even science is written in a particular language. So then when we talk about parables, analogy, symbology, you have to understand all that. You have to understand etymology. You must understand all the language to make sure you won't be lost in mistranslation. See, these are keys, and this is scholarship. It's nothing to be upset about, because you can't translate Hebrew to English, because it can mean 10 different things depending on the context. So that means it takes a particular type of study. These is keys. So the great feast of the past was ended, and the Nazarenes were journeying toward their homes. And they were in Samaria. And Mary said, "Where is my son? No one has seen the boy." And Joseph sought among their kindred, who were on their way to Galilee, but they had seen him not. Then Joseph, Mary, and a son of Zebedee returned and sought through all Jerusalem, but they could find him not. And Mary asked the guards, had they seen Yahshua, a little boy about 12 years old? The guards replied, "Yes, he is in the temple, now disputing with the doctors of law." Keep going. Because we know how in the scriptures we can find, "Woe to you, lying lawyers that try to confuse my people with them trick words, trying to talk all smooth and eloquent." Man, we will sit you on your hands from wisdom. And they went in and found him as the guards had said. And Mary said, "Why, Yahshua, why do you treat your parents thus? Lo, we have sought 2 days for you." "Lo, we have fought 2 days for you. We feared that some great harm had overtaken you." And Yahshua said, "Do you not know that I must be about my Father's work?" But he went round and pressured the hand of every doctor of the law and said, "I trust that we meet again." And then he went forth with his parents on their way to Nazareth. And when they reached their home, he wrought with Joseph as a carpenter. One day, as he was bringing forth the tools for the work, he said, come on, man, this is in your Moorish Quran, chapter 5. Man, this is your Moorish Quran, chapter 5. Come on, well, we should be very serious when we talk about our workman tools. What are the workman tools for? To build up what? Self. Come on, this is very simple. We shouldn't be afraid of nothing if you know how to use the tools. You just never should think out the box. Why should you think out the box? And I'm just telling you how to, and we talking about these workman tools, AKA the chakra, the ajna, the 12-step ladder. I mean, we can go deeper with it and synchronize it all the way because it should be. These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things were made of thought and where we build up character. We use the square to measure our lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way and make the corners of our conduct square. We use the compass to draw circles around our passions and desires to keep them in the bounds of righteousness. We use the axe to cut away the knotty, the useless, and the ungainly parts and make the character symmetrical. We use the hammer to drive home the truth and pound it until it is a part of every essence of us. We use the plane to smooth the rough, the uneven surfaces of joint and block and board that go to build the temple of truth. The chisel, the line, the plummet, the saw, all have their uses in the workshop of the mind. And then this ladder with its trinity of steps, faith, hope, love. On it, we climb up to the dome of purity in life. I didn't say in death, I said in life, because this 720 right here, baby. Come on, this is simple mathematics. Islam? Talk to me, nobles. This is the Holy Spirit right here. If we're the church, we should be screaming. Come on, man. This Sunday school. The divine comes first. Once we okay with ourselves, man, then it's all right. These are the teachings that save you within. I'm talking about the workman tools. You don't know how to use your tools? And on a 12-step ladder, we ascend until we reach the pinnacle. Until we reach the pinnacle. You move. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Noble. You were moving a little bit. Yep. Thank you, Noble. Until we reach the pinnacle of that which is spent to build the temple of the perfected man. Come on, man. Look at these beautiful teachings. Well, now we get into life and works of Yahshua in India among the Muslims. Nobles, when we talk about Eliseus Levi, when our own people are trying to destroy our own teachers, Eliseus Levi, his works, his own people will tell you he was nothing but a transcriber. Like, these is facts. This is no disrespect. A transcriber is a person or an individual that transcribes. I mean, he's telling something where he got a certain issues from or certain teachings from. And in the Aquarian Gospels, it tells of that. When I show you the Moorish Akashic records, all these things is synonymous to what I'm saying. It's no doubt. If I'm telling you, Noble Drew Ali gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared a work, a teachings. So if our prophet say he gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared, that means it comes from a place. No disrespect, some ancient text, and a scholar and a sheikh should be able to give you the main research and be like, okay, this is the science to break it down, to remove the veil of religious dogma. That's what a sheikh does. Synchronizes. So once we get into chapter 6, the life and the works of Yahshua in India among the Muslims. When I talk about the Brahmin text, and when I start breaking a lot of things down, when we can line it up, principle on principle, line on line, you'll be like, okay, I see exactly what the sheik's saying. So how can anybody that say they're a scholar, a sheik, and a leader of men and women diss any holy book? That's blasphemy. Islam?
Sheik,
Yes.
can I do something real quick?
Yeah.
Can I? Y'all see this one? Hold on.
Yep.
Can I open up the Essence Science workbook for a second?
Yes. Come on. Absolutely, Noble. You can. We're in class. You know you can. Take your time.
because the ESCO Science workbook specifically goes over each of the actual symbolic meanings of each of the tools.
Yep, sure does.
And I'll just start here. Right here where it talks about carpenter on the left side of the page. And then kind of go down. Okay?
Yep.
Carpenter. Can everybody see the screen, by the way?
Yep.
Okay, carpenter, a spiritual mentor who helps us meticulously build, reconstruct, and alter the thoughts, lessons, and the philosophies that are the building materials of our inner temple. So not in the physical sense of a carpenter, but again, something from a spiritual standpoint. Tool. This signifies the spiritual tools that are non-material and are used to effect change within self. The approach is that each tool has three parts. The description, which is an overview of the tool, when it's best used, a principle, a list of tools, principle behind the tools, and action is just a practical program of action to affect attitude or awareness towards a greater quality of life. Workshop of the mind. The workshop of the mind signifies to investigate his or her thinking, learning, and understanding one's character through metaphysics. Now we get into each of the symbols, and this is where I got a lot out of this. Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
I need to move it over. Okay.
Yep.
The square, 27, which is the 9. Spiritual insight, compassionate, brotherly love. 2, add a loving and cooperative quality. 7 adds poise and reserve and a desire for study and perfection. 9 represents humanity, symbolic. The square as the expression of 4 parts of man's psychotical. Its form gives the expression of firmness and stability, and this expression is frequent use in symbols of organization and construction.
Mm-hmm.
And so also when you think about the square, you're talking about those are the fire, earth, air, river, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Compass, 23, which is the 5, adaptable, clever, alert, desire for freedom to explore and enjoy. 5 represents the 5 senses, symbolic and emblematic representation of the act of creation found in allegories of geometry, architecture, and equity. It also symbolizes the power of measurement of delimitation,
Mm-hmm.
which are choices made by the researcher, that which you describe, the boundaries, that which you set to study.
Mm-hmm.
This is the place to explain the things that you are not doing and why you have chosen not to do them.
Mm-hmm.
Compass points in symbology are east within, which is spiritual, west without, which is expression, north above, intellectual, south below, which is physical.
Yeah.
Acts 25, which is the 7. Wise, silent, scientific, thinks deeply about things and will analyze and decide for yourself. Symbolic, a symbol of the power of light. It is a symbol of spiritual penetration and fertilization as it opens the ground. It's also a symbol of celestial illumination.
Mm-hmm.
Hammer, which is 31, which is 4. Accurate, conscientious, organized, patient, prudent, practical, sincere, studious, loyal, symbolic. Hammer is essentially a masculine force, and when striking or crushing at represents justice.
Mm-hmm.
The hammer is not only a tool, it represents might. They use it for destruction, protection, and fertilization, but it also symbolizes immortality. Plane, which is 21, which is a 3. Enthusiastic, expressive, optimistic, symbolic. Plane has special status of a clear thinking level, as in the term level-headed. Hold on. Excuse me. Let me bring this over here. Which means one who can think positive, the symbol of one who to smooth, level off, wipe away, and erase their negative thoughts. Chisel, which is 29, which is the 11. 29 behind the 11 stands for spiritual power that represents the positive, negative, masculine, feminine, active, passive force, that by walking between the two of them, we bring a sense of balance into our lives. 11 is a psychic master, creative, dignified, high idea, inspired, quiet, reserved teacher. Wants to uplift people as a whole, not necessarily individually. The 2 is a peace, cooperation, loving science. The 9 is humanity, universal service, and brotherly love. Symbolic, to cut and to shape one's character out of lower mental thoughts into a higher, productive, humble manner. And again, we have still the line, the plummet, the saw, and the ladder. And so, I don't want to, kind of get back to where you were. When I'm reading these, I guess my biggest takeaway is this is the kind of work that's done when nobody is watching, when nobody is paying attention, and it only you only really understand the value of this work when you actually understand that you're operating within the first principle, which is love, meaning that you're able to wipe away, your fears, your anxieties, all those things that stand in the way of why you don't do what it is that you need to do every day. And you can operate under a sense of peace.
Islam, Noble. Absolutely. This is what it's all about, Nobles. When Moors come into the science, and I don't know, and they get let down, coming in with so many wrong expectations, and don't understand that the divine comes first, and this science should make you better. Like, that's what this is about. And once you understand the brotherhood and what's the whole purpose, then it becomes like, man, breathing. Like we was giving an analogy in the teaching the other day about the student being dunked underwater. But he said he wanted wisdom so much, and then the teacher took him out in the middle of the water and dunked him in the water and said, "What do you want now?" He said he want breath. And he was like, and until you want breath, until you want that wisdom like you want breath, understand what this all about. It's going to take that type of determination. It's going to take that type of will. It's going to take going against the grain. It's going to take doing everything that you understand that you should be doing for self. And once you get on that level, it becomes easy to do things as a brotherhood. It becomes simple because that's our will and sacrifice. I'm telling you, that's what this all about. Just like I told Morris, just say if y'all brother was in the same area we in the domicile, whatever you want to call it, man. And I'm teaching a Wing Chun, sticky hands, martial arts, right? You will want to be instructed, you will want to be done in a proper manifestation, right? It's going to take some dedication, right?
Islam.
That's what this all about. Like when I ask brothers when they watch old martial arts movies, and I said, look at, instead of the fighting, look at the message, because I love the message of most of the martial arts movies. It's mostly community based. They're mostly orthodox. You have those. It's mostly, and then you see the signs and the symbols, the misnomer swastika. It's always a meaning. It's always brotherhood. You're going to tell a certain tribe of brothers why, by their attire, by their headgear, all the time. You're going to always tell who the monks, who this tribe, who the tiger clan, who this clan, by how? By their attire. And all brotherhood, all societies are under a particular, how can I say it, wisdom that should be understand on all levels. Because master students from amongst everywhere, it's an agreement, it's an understanding. It's a level of peace. And as a master student and as a teacher, what a teacher is doing is teaching other teachers to go out in a community and come together under one auspice and do something major. But when we disperse in our communities and in our homes, we putting that same type of work in. Islam?
Islam.
Let's go back to our Moorish Quran, if you don't mind. Were you done, Noble? Were you still going, Noble? You had something else?
No, I'm sorry, my bad.
No, you good, Noble. That was excellent. But and I love how Noble Lamarck, like you said, when the teaching synchronized, like all the teaching synchronized, you can get all the books, Lamb, all out there that we have that go with our Moorish Quran, the Catechism, the Discovery Key questionnaires, lay them all out, be a big map. Be like, okay, bam, 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 all saying the same thing. And then we get where the science come from, a lot of the Brahmin texts, a lot of the old, the Nag Hammadi with Jitas and all that, the unto thee I grant. We get a lot of those teachings and put it together and be like, listen, man, it's nothing wrong. Because there never was a time when man was not. And we operate on supreme wisdom. Like, you get people get mad in order because we said, and then I want to ask y'all, do y'all agree? In order to get to Friday, you got to go through Thursday. Yes or no?
Yes.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you cool with that and you are willing to agree, why would you let somebody come to you and say, hey man, I'm gonna show you how to get to Friday without going to Thursday? Huh? And try to sell you some crap. Are you listening to what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We should be on a way higher frequency. Because that stuff, like what's the mission? Like, what you fighting, what you barking about? That, man, I ain't tripping to get to Friday to go through Thursday. I'm cool with that. I'm willing. I'm a willing obligor on this. See?
Wow.
Come on, the Moors. So let's slide it over a little bit more, man. This is good. This is good, man. Life and works of Yahshua in India among the Muslims. Did we start reading this, or we didn't stop, did we yet? Oh man, this is good. This is good. Who want to read, man?
I can read.
Gratitude, Solomon.
All right. Life and works of Yeshua in India among the Muslims. A royal prince of India, Ravana, in the south, was at the Jewish feast. Ravana was a man of wealth, and he was just and with a band of Brahmic priests sought wisdom in the west. When Yeshua stood among the Jewish priests and read and spoke, Ravana heard and was amazed. And when he asked who Yeshua was, from whence he came, and what he was, Hillel said, we call this child the day star from on high, for he has come to bring to men a light, the light of life, to lighten up the way of men and to redeem his people of Israel. And Hillel told Ravana all about the child, about the prophecies concerning him, about the wonders of the night when he was born, about the visit of the magician priest, about the way in which he was protected from the wrath of evil men, about his flight to Egypt land, and how he then was serving with his father as a carpenter in Nazareth.
Stop right there, Noble. Now watch this. When you read 6, and when there's talk about the visit of the Magian priest, and then I'm gonna teach. Don't let me forget about the spirit of the Magi. When all this stuff can be synchronized, man. Like, it's very simple. When a person try to discredit any scholarship, and you can never discredit any scholarship, because all you got to do would go with the first writers at that time and be like, no way you could miss this. If you a scholar and this your field, and the writers in that time is scholars, no way you can miss this. So all we're going to do is illuminate teachings. Illuminate. Islam, Noble?
Islam.
So in holy books, no matter if you want to deal with the specifics or the parables or the analogy, it's always going to be a specific. When they talk about his people of Israel, a person always want to say, when they come in with this, after they done tried to whitewash history for all these years, try to say, well, this don't matter and that don't matter. Well, if it didn't matter, you would have told the truth from the damn beginning. Point blank. You understand? And now that this so-called the time of the Aquarius, man, it's always the time of the Aquarius, because history was already here, and it never was a time when man was not. It ain't no specific time when the truth tellers tell. We've been doing this all our life. This is what we made for. Islam?
Islam.
Proceed, Noble.
Ravana was entranced and asked to know the way to Nazareth, that he might go and honor such a one as son of Allah. And with his gorgeous train, he journeyed and came to Nazareth of Galilee. Verse 10. He found the object of his search engaged in building dwellings for the sons of men. And when he first saw Yeshua, he was climbing up a 12-step ladder, and he carried in his hand a compass, square, and axe. Ravana said, "All hail, most favorable son of heaven." And at the end, Ravana made a feast for all the people of the town, and Yeshua and his parents were honored guests. Verse 14. For certain days, Ravana was a guest in Joseph's home on Marmion Way. He sought to learn the secret of the wisdom of the son, but it was all too great for him. And then he asked that he might be the patron of the child, might take him to the east, where he could learn the wisdom of the Brahmins.
Take him where? Take him where?
Take him to the east, where he could learn the wisdom of the Brahmins.
Okay, so now where my wife? Where my empress at? She ain't here. Oh, because I'm being silly. I'm like, let me do something. To the east, where he could learn the wisdom of the who? So when I start bringing out all of the Brahmin texts, when you be like, dang, it sounds like the Moorish Quran. Dang, this sounds like yeah. It's like it's in there.
That's the silent brotherhood of the East right there.
Come on, man. Watch when I break down them Brahmin texts that you'll be like, where a lot of the science come from. You'll be like, oh, okay, I see the wisdom. It's no disrespect to our prophet said he gathered and compiled and divinely prepared. He telling you this. Like, this ain't no slander. This ain't no hate. So if our prophet said he gathered and compiled and divinely prepared, I'm telling you, I'm coming with divine wisdom and a scholar and a sheep. Come on, I gotta do the main research. Just like if I was in college and I'm doing a dissertation. What's going to be my main research where I gathered and compiled all this from, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to be clear with things. You know, our prophet didn't say he just slept on a rock, just like no disrespect again. Just like a lot of these Europeans say, like Alicia Levi said, he just had an epiphany, an angel that flew out the sky, boom, 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 landed on his head, and he just became wise. Man, miss me with that goofy stuff. No disrespect to no one, man. Come on. That's one of the Masonic secrets again. The pendulum swing both ways. So proceed, Noble.
All right. Ayah 16. And Yeshua longed to go that he might learn. And after many days, his parents gave consent. Then, with proud heart, Ravana with his train began the journey towards the rising sun. And after many days, they crossed the sand and reached the province of Orisha and the palace of the prince.
Of who?
Province.
Okay, Orisha. Now let's keep all this, like we taught this plenty of times. We talking about all when you start connecting the dots, you will start relieving. We're gonna synchronize this. Once we finish the Moorish Quran, you're gonna be like, man, I see why people stay away from the Moorish Quran, because it'll whip you. Because you can teach the Moorish Quran from truth, from law, from everything how to operate right in the Moorish Quran, and you can teach all through the Moorish Quran. I can teach the silent brotherhood of the East for the Quran. I can teach civil law from the Moorish Quran. What else? Right through the Moorish Quran, all the holy books to the Moorish Quran say, get this book here, blah, 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 and be like, yep, bam, 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 synchronizes. And then once we'll start hating on our own teachers, in that time, I'll show you that the Europeans, Adam Blavatsky, all of them, Alex de Crowley, all of them, will tell you that this all more science. See, I'm telling y'all, man, if a lot of our scholars that was back then, when I reveal things to y'all and they'd talk over people's head, and I say, let me break it down. Like I'll give you one explanation about Bobby Hemmett when he's doing the teaching about fasting and things, and about how when people be afraid of Alex Crowley, and I say Alex Crowley changed his name to Serapis Bey. When I sent y'all earlier about the 777, I sent y'all that book. Once you understand this science and this Kabbalah and this symbology and this gematria, you will really understand the science of what's really going on. You would digress from the hate. You will really open your eyes. You will start being illuminated. And I'm telling you, what's the secret? You. And there's nothing wrong with having a guy. Back then, these, no disrespect, these misnomer Europeans, they paid these people a lot. These were the scholars. That's why they were able to keep things from ourselves, because we weren't into that. It takes somebody that's been in the fire and there that can speak on that level and say, this is what it is, this is what it is. Bam, 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 get this, get this, get this. Gather and compile this. We need to be a brotherhood. We need to be a tribe. Why? Because this proves what it is. And all through history, everyone know what I'm saying. We got to stop dissing our own kind, because the ones that we say so heavy in their bio that are the lecture, they give credit to our prophet Noble Drew Ali for bringing this science to the so-called misnomer Negro, black, or color in North America. Islam?
Islam.
Proceed, Noble.
I got 18. The Brahmic priests were glad to welcome home the prince. With favor, they received the Jewish boy. And Yeshua was accepted as a pupil in the temple, Jagannath, and here he learned the Vedas and the Manic law.
Stop right there. He learned the what?
The Vedas and the Manic law.
Okay, so then when you talk to a sheik, and when I talk about elementary wisdom, how you gonna say you understand something you don't know the Vedas and the Manic laws? Because I do. My elders do. It is such thing as the Vedas. You know that, right?
Sir.
Like this ain't no made up. Come on, look at Solomon smiling. Solomon, no, it's a such thing as the Vedas. It's a such thing as the Manic law. I don't have time to break it down, but it is. This is the elementary wisdom. When I say a true scholar, a true sheik, he's going to understand all the science. He's going to understand the triple roll of the adapt chamber. He's going to understand all the wisdom. He's going to understand all the Vedas, all the Brahmin texts, everything that it goes to understand this. The Guanatam Buddha that sits on the 7 serpents, the 7 seals. You're going to be able to break all this stuff down, symbology. You're going to be able to break down all the science, all the religious texts. Why? Because that's what an adapt does. Use the same literature to prove the science for a person that may be on a religious belief system, and they can feel okay as you speaking and as you illuminating. Because if you dissing light, then you dissing yourself. And you reject an I. Who? The prophet, the teacher. Islam?
Islam.
Come on. Proceed, Noble.
I got 20. The Brahmic masters wondered at the clear conceptions of the child, and often were amazed when he explained to them the meaning of the law.
Let's go. Chapter 7. We come on. We keep going. We on good time. It's Sunday school. Come on. When anybody tell, when a person and they always like to get with that blind faith. Jesus didn't do this and do this and do this and do this. Man, we Moors. We can tell you if we're going to talk about that manifestation of wisdom, understanding, and I put it in the context of understanding the wisdom. When I say you don't gravitate to one science where you miss the rest, and then my makeup, I show y'all IDMR, and I show y'all and elevate and illuminate how we must understand and research all the occult scriptures, all the Gnostic texts. This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is right here, chapter 7, the friendship of Yahshua and Lammas. Yahshua explains to Lammas the meaning of truth. Somebody want to take that? Somebody want to lead that?
I'll read it.
Islam, Brian.
Among the priests of Jagannath, one who loved the Jewish boy, Mama's promise was the name by which the priest was known. One day, as Joshua and Lama walked along and Lazarus Jagannath, Mama said, my Jewish master, what is truth? And Yahshua said, truth is the only thing that changes not. In all the world, there are two things. The one is truth. The other is falsehood, and falsehood that which needs to be. Now, truth is I, and has no cause, and yet it is the cause of everything. Falsehood is not, yet it is the manifest of right. Whatever has been made will be unmade. That which begins must end. All things that can be seen by human eyes are manifest of I, are not, and so must pass away. The things we see are but reflections, just appearance. While the ethers vibrate so and so, and when conditions change, they disappear. The holy breath is truth. It is that which was and is and evermore shall be. It cannot change, nor pass away. Laman said,
Apologies. Hold on. Am I on the right page?
I don't know. I think you missed that. Well, I think he was on.
Here it is.
We're in chapter 7.
There we go.
Yeah, verse ayat 11.
at 11, Laman said, you answer well. Now, what is man? And Yahshua said, man is the truth and falsehood. Strange to me.
Stop right there, Noble. Do we have a clear understanding why man is truth and falsehood strangely mixed? Can we break that down very simple in a way where we can understand, not in a way we say, well, a part of me is evil and all that, because we did not say that. But do we understand that statement or that science?
That we are the spirit clothed in flesh.
Come on, yes. And so it has to be two things. And so in the mind frame of metaphysics or science, it's clear to understand that man is truth and falsehood strangely mixed. Because in order to make, because watch this, how simple it is with decisions. When you make a decision, you know it's already right or wrong when you make it, right? Right?
Islam.
So we truth and falsehood strangely mixed. When what's controlling us? When what's controlling us? Is it lower desires? Is the lights on? Can anybody see us? And if they can't, then we cool. Proceed, Noble.
Wrong. And Yahshua said, man is the truth and falsehood. Strange to me. Man is the breath made flesh. So truth and falsehood are conjoined in him. And they strive and not goes down in man as truth abides. Again, Laman asked, what do you say of power? And Yahshua said, it is a manifest. It is the result of force. It is but not. It is an illusion. Nothing more. Force changes not. But power changes as the ethers change. Is the will of Allah and its omnipotent. And power is that will in manifest, directed by the breath. There is power in the wind, a power in the wave, a power in the lightning stroke, a power in the human arm, a power in the eye. The ethers cause these powers to be, and thought of Elohim, of angel, man, or other dignity direct the force. When it has done its work, the power is no more. Again, Laman asked, understand it. And Yahshua said, it is the rock on which man builds himself. It is the gnosis of the odd and of the not, of falsehood and of truth.
Stop right there. See, so as you see in our symbology, when we see the compass and the square, you know I like to get in gematria a little bit and get into like speaking in a different chamber. So when we say, and Yahshua said, it is the rock on which man builds himself. It is the gnosis of the art and the naught. It is the genesis. It is the genesis, the beginning and the end of the art and the naught. The alpha and the omega, the esoteric, the exoteric. It is the genesis, the genesis. Did y'all catch me? Huh?
Islam, the beginning, yeah.
Substitute that Gnostics word, Genesis, our beginning.
And when you start thinking about that, when I speak on Genesis, I can start pulling out codes out of that. That's all I'm saying when we talk about the gnosis. Like it's certain simple things you can start pulling out of things, be like, oh, okay, I see what he's saying. He's pulling out things to build up the chamber of man. What man? The man built without hands. Man is made in the image of Elohim, right? Okay.
Islam.
Proceed, Noble.
It is the knowledge of the Lord self, the sensing of the power of man himself. Again, Mama asked, what have you to say? And Yahshua said, it is the consciousness that man is not, that Allah and man are one. That not is not, that power is but illusion, that heaven and earth and hell are not above, around, below, but in, within the light of Allah becomes the knowledge, and Allah is all.
Can we understand? Do you understand that, Nobles? When a person be talking about, oh, this hell and this, and that, and the other. No, that's within. Because once the flesh gone, the flesh go back to Allah. And I'm not going to argue that. But we talking about today, when we talk about hell, no, the hell can be engulfed in that divine vessel. You know, when you can be physically alive, but spiritually dead. Disconnected from the Father within. Disconnected from the Allah. Disconnected from the Islam within. Disconnected from that Kabbalistic spelling of man. Islam?
Islam.
Proceed, Noble.
Ayah 25, Laman's asked, pray, what is faith? Yahshua said, faith is the surety of the omnipotent of Allah and man, the thirst that man will reach the deific life. Salvation is a lateral reach from the heart of man to the heart of Allah. It has steps. Believe first, and this is what man thinks perhaps is true. And faith is next. And this is what man knows is true. Fruition is last. And this is man himself, the truth. Belief is lost in faith, and fruition is belief is lost in faith, and intuition is lost. And man is saved when he reaches deific life. He and Allah are one.
Yep. Let's go. We got a little bit more time. We got 7 more minutes. Let's go to the next chapter, man. I tell Moorish, the Quran is not, it's a compilation. This we should always be willing to go over this and calm ourselves down. This is the meditation.
Islam, no. No, I can highlight also where we talk about the heaven and the hell that is within. I mean, that's synonymous with the law of correspondence.
Mm-hmm.
When we think about the above, so above as so below, as a below. And it is also as within and so without. So with that heaven and hell that we experience and most people project as a physical experience, we experience these things that we traverse through on the inside. But as that law of correspondence tells us also that what we experience on the inside will also manifest itself on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of our trials and our tribulations and things that we, sojourn through, we bring on ourselves by those things that occur on the inside, not someone trying to sabotage us on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Islam.
Islam, Noble. When a lot of time, you know, somebody say, well, why me? And it's like, because the same situation we around. You know, a lot of times when we talk about certain things that's happening on the outside, we don't understand the only reason why it's happening on the outside, because there's something within making that happen. Like per se, a certain type of skin ailment or something. Maybe what you eating or maybe what you're not eating is making your skin come out, or what's inside come out on your skin, or make your ankle swell. It's something inside. And so we should always be willing to fix what's inside. And I'm just using that as an analogy. You know what I mean?
Islam.
So yeah, where we at in chapter? Matter of fact, you know, we can stop right there because we only got a couple minutes left. We can interject on that and jump right into just brief a little bit on the Koranic study guide and just show how this is all synonymous. If y'all want to, like I said, this is what we're here for, man. We use these tools to show you this science is universal, and we haven't even jumped in the civics. Like when we jump in the civics, man, it's gonna be so basic and so elementary. All that UCC stuff, people that's be talking over your head, you're gonna be like, man, this is a breath of fresh air. I guarantee you, because a person is not really going all the way there. And when you give a person a little bit and don't teach them the all law, what you're doing is controlling their wisdom. You're shutting the light out. It's very simple. We call that program learning. In academia, they call it a reading list. You know? So I want us to be clear on that, man. We good, Barclay?
Yeah, I was seeing if I could pull up the Koranic study guide real quick.
If not, man, if you don't got it, we good. It's all good, Noble. Because when we showing more, you have to have the literature to make sure you operating right, just like the manuals, just like the guides. And then it must be explained in a holistic way. Like we talk about our workman tools. It's not nothing we just use in European masonry and black masonry where we wear things on our skirt. No, we use these tools. We use them very well. Islam, Nobles?
Islam.
Islam.
Okay. There we go.
Islam, Noble.
25.
If you want to narrate it a little bit, just like I said, Noble, we don't have to talk long. You can just do a little connecting and just show the synchronicity, and we move forward, man. Like, so what we're talking about, Noble, is if a lot of people don't know what we're talking about when we say the Quranic study guide, these are pieces of literature that maybe some Moors have, which if you do, Islam, we give you gratitude. If you don't, you can get them from mypdfbooks.com, books with a Z. But it's a lot of more science books that really, really can help you understand on a, how can I say it, a prerequisite level. You know what I mean? And where people will say, oh, I never heard of this, but really heard of these things. And really say, okay, well, that's factual, and I get that. And then not only if you may think you know and don't know completely, you can sit with a grand body and go over these things as adapts and nobles. Because I tell you, that's what we use wisdom for. We sit down as a body and make sure we operating right. Me being a sheik, me being a guide in a map want to get you to the right place. So if we part of a brotherhood, we got to take everything and make sure we going the right way. Right? Come on now.
Islam.
So that's what I'm saying, man. When Moors be like, oh, they doing this, and they like, well, I never heard of this and that stuff. And I say, why not? So this is the Quranic study guide, one of the tools. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody ever heard of it. If you have, and you just holding the book and never going through it, well, I think that's an issue too, because a lot of people do that as well. So here go a body that we go over these things. If you don't have the time or the aptitude, you can be a part of a group and do something that you should be willing to do. So my noble Lamar, do you want to kind of narrate this a little bit?
Sure.
Okay.
So we're in what is this, chapter 5?
Yeah.
Verse 11
Yeah.
of the Quran, and that reads, "And then he went forth with his parents on the way to Nazareth, and when they reached their home, he wrought with Joseph as a carpenter." And so there's a couple of Bible references here, and I don't know where they start. Sorry, because they're usually at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me see. So it looks like Luke 2 and 42.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. And when they fulfilled these days, as they returned, the child Jesus tarried behind in Jerusalem, as Joseph and his mother knew not of it. But they, supporting him to have been in the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him amongst their kinsfolk and acquaintance. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions.
See?
And so kind of moving forward to verse 20 in the Moorish Koran, which reads, "And this ladder with the trinity of steps, faith, hope, and love, and on it we climb up to the dome of purity and life." In the Bible, you have 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13, which corresponds with that verse. It says, "And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity."
See?
In chapter 6 of the Quran, verse 5, which reads, "We call this the day star from on high, for he has come to bring to men a light, the light of life, to lighten up the way of men and redeem his people of Israel." And so in the Bible, that corresponds with Matthew's chapter 15, verse 24. "But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." In verse 7, we have a few different. The first one is verse 4 of the Quran, which reads, "In all the world there are two things. The one is truth, the other is falsehood, and falsehood was that which seems to be true." And so you have the Holy Quran with the Q, references 34:49, say, "The truth has come, and falsehood neither originates nor reproduces." 29:44 says, "Allah created the heavens and the earth with truth. Surely there is a sign in this for the believers." And I'll read another one really quickly at 31:30. "This is because Allah is the truth, and that which they called upon besides him is falsehood, and that Allah is the High, the Great." Verse 5 of chapter 7 of the Moorish Holy Quran, which reads, "Falsehood is aught, and yet it is the manifest of right." Again, in the Holy Quran with the Q, we have corresponding chapters, which is 16, verse 3. "He created the heavens and the earth with truth. Highly exalted be he above what they associated with him." In 14:19, seest thou not that Allah created the heavens and the earth with truth? If he please, he will take you away ere it bring a new occasion.
See what I'm saying, Noble? So what do, okay, so it's clearly, and we got to be honest that a lot of our so-called Sheikh scholars, they're not studying, right, Nobles?
Islam?
I mean, clearly, Solomon, are we okay to say that?
Yes, sir.
Because to diss anything and to say, how can you do that? And just like when we talk about the symbol, and we're gonna finish, we're gonna just synchronize this and we out of here. That circle, that 7, that symbol, right on the cover of your circle 7 Quran, that circle and that 7, with the so-called indentions, whatever you want to call it. That result of successful work. The archetypal, the perfected man, divinity within matter, the mystery of that. which cannot be contained within a progressively evolving containment. That's chapter 1 of our Moorish Holy Quran. That's the Hebrew secret, the Kabbalah. I'm telling you, the mystery of what? We just talked about it. The device man, or the device life. The containment made. Remember when you see that Baphomet, one hand up, one hand down, you see that soul of COVID, the death of the ego, the Soviet Koga, so that the rays of light, the breath of Allah, may germinate the seed buried within the grave of the ego, the 7, Islam.
Islam.
Come on, we almost there, man. We connecting the science. All this stuff is symbolic. I'm coming from all different teeth, like it's all science. What we doing is removing that Christian Trinity and that Islamic conflict. It's not one. Watch this. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believed in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. That's Gospel John 3:16, that all the Christians say they love. Okay, well, if that's the fact, say he, Allah, is one. He begots not, nor is he begotten, and there is none like him. That's Surah 112, 1-4. So the source of the conflict, Moors, lies in the confusion of a microcosmic aspect of the one true reality, the God and the Son, and its most recognized personal manifestation, aka Jesus per se. Stay with me. We almost home. The divine pluralism within monotheism. Just like when we talk about the unto thee I grant. I don't know how a brother can call himself a sheik and get the distant things. And our Moorish Quran is gathered and compiled from the unto thee I grant. And you won't even, and what I'm talking about is right in the damn introduction of the unto thee I grant. What I'm saying, so that clearly tell you your brothers and sisters is clearly off. There's no way. Why would a person even entertain somebody that you know is not even there? That should be a student. Nobody entertains that. Listen to clearly, divine pluralism. Now we're talking about mathematics. Watch this. Divine pluralism within monotheism, the Christian Trinity, the Islamic monotheism, conflict resolved. Identity property of addition states that the sum of 0 and any number of variable is the number or variable itself. What I'm saying, 1 + 1 + 1 equals what?
3.
Okay. Indicative of what? Linear, the finite, the thinking, calls the intellect and the intuition to class. So when we break down this conflict, this Christian Trinity and this Islamic monotheism, this so-called conflict resolve, identity property of multiplication states that the product of 1 and any number or variable is that number or variable itself. Can we agree to that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Huh? Talk to me.
Yes, we can agree to that.
Okay, talk to me, y'all. We in class. Come on. We almost home. 1 × 1 × 1 equals what?
1.
You say what?
1.
Islam, Solomon. Indicative of the true Islamic thought. The infinite. It satisfies both the intellect and the intuition. See, we talking about things that can be agreed on. Nobody can deny what we talking about, Solomon. Divine pluralism within monotheism, that conflict resolved, the 1, the 3, the 7, the 10 aspects of God and man. When you get that triangle and put those 3 circles in it and they all touching. Listen, watch this. Behold, thy Lord said to the angels, I will create Khalifa in the earth. They said, will thou place therein one who will cause mischief and the shedding of blood? While we do celebrate thy praises and glorify thy name. He said, I know what you know not. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:30 and 34. So the biblical term only begotten son, Moors, and the Koranic term Khalifa, Moors, are identical. Therefore, the authentic tradition maintains that Surah 2 and 30 family and John 3 and 16 are describing the same event. Islam, I mean, somebody talk to me, man.
Islam.
Come on, y'all, come on, man. If we in class, if we were trying to get an A on something, you'd be like, come on. You got to go with the true science. This is the Holy Spirit. This is the teachings.
Islam.
1, 3, 17, the aspects of God and man. We got to go through this over and over. I love to teach. I'm a teacher. I go over this over and over till the whole crew get it. To all, like, say if I was a dealer with dogs, the little runt got to get it too. Grow up to be a beast. Because why? Because we putting that same work in. The term, the world, and the earth are indicative of that which is created or manifest reality, family. So what I'm trying to say and explain, the terms God and Allah within the context are indicative of the timeless, the causeless cause that is beyond all manifestation, hence beyond all comprehension. The term only begotten son and Khalifa refer to God's, Allah's presence within his own creation, family. The miraculous means by which this insertion or assertion takes place is referred to in your biblical scripture as the Holy Ghost, but Islamically, family, is Baraka. Everybody know that, study the text, understand what I'm saying. B-A-R-A-K-A-A. You cannot deny what I'm saying right now. All you can be like is he's illuminating. And it constitutes the authentic tradition, the line that unites divinity and matter. Here we go, talk about that cherubim and that cherubim. Islam, y'all, talk to me. Talk to me, man. I'm excited today.
Islam.
Come on. The symbol, the numbers, the letters, and the colors. We can teach our children this. This is homeschooling. After they go deal with the regular school and they come home and get homeschooled, they're going to be brilliant. That's like I'm telling you, man, I was talking about Noble Lamarck's daughter, his Empress Bailey. What, man, it's just amazing the growth that you're going to be able to see, the influence that you're going to be able to see, the growth, the scholarship. It's going to be a pleasure to see that. And that's what I'm telling all my nobles, that you can instill in your child while they go into regular school and public school. Instill something in them that's so powerful that'll make them proud, that'll make you proud, and they'll walk with dignity and honor, and you will see it at a young age. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to make a difference. Watch. But the table of sequential and geometrical values of Arabic letters, when you talk about 1, 2, 3, the Arabic letters, the English, the geometrical value, the 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10. Then you go to the 20 to 30 to 40, the 50. And then that sequential value, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Y'all know what I mean. Then the Arabic letters, then the English. Then you got that geometrical value, 60, 70, 80, 90. So when you start understanding this numerical bar, or when you understand how to use that compass and the square in a mathematical manifestation, when you can measure everything on the square, what you say, everything, yeah, everything. Numbers are the universal language. Numbers are symbols of primordial thoughts forms. When I talk about signs and symbols of the primordial man, I keep telling y'all, the Europeans are going to continue to agree with me. And then when you look at Albert Churchward, when you see who his teacher is, you'll be like, oh my God, because it was a Moor. And thus our living things, numbers, measured, vibrations. Thus they define differentiation, manifestation, numbers, maps, patterns. Patterns are the evidence, shadow of the unseen reality. Letter, phonetic numbers, color, visual numbers. Man, me and my parents was having a conversation. I said, man, I promise you, if I had a teacher like myself that can teach this and make everything reality from science and everything, it would have made a difference for me. Absolutely. Yeah, hell yeah. To see a brother like me to teach and be able to speak like that and see and operate on a real level and teach history and spirituality, man, that'd be so powerful for the kids. That'd be so powerful. This is the norm. This should be the norm. We should be like, man, I got a daddy up. My kid need to learn what? At least the history, at least the science, because the 1, 2, 3s and ABCs, that's universal. Numbers and letters are working tools to map the higher realms of experience, to scientifically investigate unseen realities. Just imagine if your kid can start thinking things out scientifically and understanding at a young age and be able to use both sides of their brain in the manifestation. But like, man, I done thought this out already. Like, huh? You did what? I done thought this out already, how to make this happen. Oh, okay. Now we thinking now. Absolutely. This is the normal. They investigate the unseen realities, the why of things, the why I'm like this, why this is happening, why I'm attracting this, why this is going on around me in my environment. Do I need to move my environment? Why? The cause of everything. The 7 Kemetic principles, highly connotated as the Hermetic. We're talking about the Kemetic. We must understand self. And all this is I'm talking about is perfecting self. The 7 Kemetic principles, the things that we can agree on. What? The things that is essence, the perfect self. We must agree on the 7 Kemetic principles. If not, somebody operating totally on their own understanding. The hidden cause behind manifest realities. See more the example of numerical explorations using the NAE Q6 code. I'll break that down at a later date. But when we talk about gematria and things, when we talk about Jurali equals 72. Vine, John 15:1, I am the vine, and my Father is the husbandman, a clear indicator of the physical manifestation of the authentic tradition. Also, by definition, links to the phrase 72-fold lion, which has the numerical value of 231 of white tinnicure, or the alchemical philosopher's stone. I mean, a lot of this stuff is not osmosis. We have to break this stuff down. When you talk about all the scholars that's gone, if we scholars today, we should be able to regurgitate the teachings. You know, it's no problem. Black, according to science, mean deaf. What kind of science? Mathematically speaking, when I tell a person, stay in the context. Mathematically speaking, black is deaf. And deaf is no enemy of man. It's a friend. And so when we talk about context, we must stay in the proper manifestation. You know? In this context, we talked about the relation of the word black to death, the alchemical death, the disintegration, defined as the fermentation of the elements until a state of dissolution. The alchemical term for putrefaction is negrito. We can teach this stuff. Black, according to the science, means death. White means purity. In this context, God means ruler of the land. The alchemical process negrito gives rise to the albedo Moors, the white light per se, divinity of man, piercing through the developmental stage of the negrito. And it represents man's first recognition of that communication with our own divine nature. And in fact, Moors, nothing dies except what hinders and obstructs the transformation. That's the ego, the pride. Transformation symbolized in astrology as the 8th house, in the tarot deck as the 16th trump, aka the Trump Tower Moors, alchemically Moors, the planet Saturn, and the base metal lead. The phrase solve it, kova, when you see on the so-called Baphomet, solve it, what is fixed, can only occur within the negrito, and only through negrito is the divine man revealed. Are y'all following me? Islam?
Islam. I mean,
Come on, man, this is powerful. This stuff is powerful stuff. Even in our Moorish Quran, chapter 1, the prima materia equates to the ethers of the plane of the soul and the dark matter of quantum physics, and the inner fire that must be touched by the penetrating external fire is the seed that came forth from the heart of Allah. See, this is what should be piercing people to correct all your steps. It's right there. It's right there, man. And so I give gratitude to the teachings. I give gratitude to all the laws and the prophets. I give gratitude to all my brothers and sisters. But how can a man say he or she love God and he or she never seen him, but hey, man, that they see every day that operate in that vessel, in that station of God in the flesh, and pertaining to our one-on-ones, it's nothing wrong with a prophet and angel. It clearly tells us what a prophet and an angel is in our one-on-ones, doesn't it, Morris?
Islam.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
We cannot let nobody get us caught up in that trash and act like it's we got to bow down to some God in the sky or some man in the flesh. No, a map and a guide that give keys to brothers and sisters, and we become nobles and we become master teachers in our life and bring people to the storehouse together. That's what this all about. We all are teachers. We all have a gift. And once we jump and divulge in our gift, there go the Voltron operates. There go the analogy, the symbology or the parable, one body, many parts. The foot don't say to the arm, I want to be the arm. It's okay doing that foot manifestation. The nose don't say to the ear, I want to be the ear. It master that nose stuff. So when we understand this and we master our station, then that's the peace. That's when you operate in peace. That's when you operate in self. That's when you operate in your station. What? Operating in your full glory. Your cup is full. Your cup running over. It's running over because so much of you is filling in it. And you got strength and glory to give to somebody else. Can't nothing come in it. You ain't looking for nothing. You're already a part of something. Your cup runneth over. We've been saying it. You become what you say. Come on, I'm saying it in layman terms. Am I saying something wrong?
No, sir.
We become this, and if we study this, we ponder on this, and if we get to that level, man, this is a joint thing. This is the aha moment. This is the illuminating moment. So I give gratitude to y'all. I give gratitude to Allah, man. Any questions, Morris? Thanks for everybody on YouTube that gave a donation. If anybody gave a donation, I give gratitude because we will be going privately on Zoom. Yes, it is Cash App, $KG Bay. If you give whatever donation from the heart, I will give you literature. One of my nobles hit me up like this today, Noble. And he was like, Sheik, it's one thing that you do. And he was like, you do feed people. And I say, yes. And I ask people, if you're getting fed, I hope you have it on the kindness of your heart to give a gratitude for being fed. And if you don't have it, that's fine. But whatever you give to it, it's a charitable contribution of your heart. I'm going to continue to feed. But I hope if a person really don't have it and they continue to eat, when you do get something, it's okay to give a small piece. I don't foresee there's nothing wrong with that if you're getting fed, because I'm going to continue to feed. I will feed the homeless. Just like I said when I say it's a charitable donation. If you like the lecture and then you want literature to get with your donation, I will give you literature. And you can study it and read it on your own. And you can be like, oh, okay, I see what's happening. And you can get the literature from mypdfbooks.com. But what I offer when people join the lecture live for your donations, I'm willing to give. So with that being said, man, I give gratitude, man. Any questions, Morris? Anybody got anything?
Islam, Sheikh. When he was reading earlier out of the passage out of the Quran, I think it was in Surah or something like that, when it was talking about Khalifa or whatever, and how they were bloodshed and stuff like that. We can relate that same word Khalifa to the modern day word California, right? As the location, right?
Yep, absolutely. 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 It's a lot of symbols and signs. Absolutely, Noble. Yep. When you start looking at symbology and symbols, when you start really digging, it's like it shows you what a lot of, I won't say in secret and sacredness, what a lot of homage be paid to. You know, and it just for to illuminate, to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and do what every other body's been doing. And that's what we're doing. Yes, it's excuse me, it take a little time, but all good things take time. When we talk about structuring things, we legit in law. We should be proud. Like really though, like it's so yes, I give gratitude to that, Noble. Yes, absolutely. That manifestation, yep, you can relay that to California or Khalifa and certain statues when things were changed and when you see prototypes and things. Absolutely.
Yes, because I remember we was talking about that last week in the depth class, and that same word came up, and that's what made me think about it, you know, when you was going over that, you know, where to find that, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, where how you can link that today, you know, to the modern day. So,
yeah. Just like a lot of people now talking about, watch this, you're going to see a lot of people now talking about Queen Nanny of the Jamaican Maroons. But you would go back, we've been like, and I don't like to say being, but I like to say it's nothing new for an educator and a scholar. I'm glad and I love when things come out, but it's no secret when people be thinking it's the only one. When I tell more, I'm like, in scholarship and academia, it's so much. So show it all. Like we have a lot of the books. We're gonna go through all this Queen Nanny of the Jamaican Maroons. It was a lot that Queen Nanny did. Not just a little bit where we just talked briefly. Man, we have to do a whole week series on Queen Nanny. You know? I have to do a whole week series on Queen Nanny and the Jamaican Maroons. Just to even, how can I say it, fill you up on what's getting ready to go down. You know what I mean? That's the how it got to that, man. So yeah, I give gratitude, man. Anything else? Gratitude, Solomon, for that insight.
Islam.
Also know I could also know Solomon's point made me brought back to my remembrance, and also the book of the Symbols. If those haven't gone into that yet, but you also see a lot of what Holy Quran Circle 7 talks of Arisa.
Mm-hmm.
It's in that book. A lot of the talk of Arisa and as a place, the symbols were given their divine orators, divine prophecies, and things of that nature, of the matriarchal principle. Back to that Queen Nana, same principle.
Islam, Noble. Islam. I give gratitude. Anybody else, man? Got any want to share some or any quick inspiration of what they get out of the teachings, or just anything? You know what I mean? Before we get out of here, because I know it always does something for me, man. The teachings really help me, you know, and studying the scriptures and making it real and really applying it. It really gives gratitude to the work that it takes and the dedication. So I give gratitude to the work and the dedication and the persistence and the stick-to-itness. That's what I give homage to, like this everlasting so-called gospel, this everlasting good news, this everlasting testimony. I'll give honor to do that in the flesh while I'm in it. You know what I mean? I give honors to that, you know?
Islam, though, I give honors and gratitude to tribe, honors and gratitude to all those that are seeking light in all different manifestations. We don't gravitate to one and diss all the rest, as she always says. I go give a brief testimony just about the benediction, where we recite that benediction on a weekly basis, maybe once or twice. Well, as she has me reciting the benediction, it's become part of me and a mantra where I'm out walking, doing my walk, and the benediction will come up.
Yep.
And I didn't even realize I knew it by heart.
Yep.
I didn't realize I knew it by heart.
Come on.
Oh, the word is gone.
Yes.
And then when it came to me like that, I just was like, I couldn't stop saying it.
Yeah.
And I just was like, man. And then, by Allah's grace, when it's like that, when it's on your heart, and you pause on it.
Yes.
And you take your time.
Come on.
And you go through these prayers, and even the mat is the same way. And you slow down, man, it's a whole different manifestation. It's a whole different experience. So I would admonish you, take your time in your contemplation and your meditation to go with these precepts, and, line by line, slow down.
Yep.
Islam.
Come on, Noble. I give gratitude. Man, Noble, that is so profound, because we're talking about consistency and consistency. You know what I mean? Persistence, not rushing and then like I'm trying to get it all. No, that continue and meditating on that, like the basics. We always talk about the basics. That benediction, that Moorish American prayer, that's a map. Just like our religious brothers that in Islam, because I give credit to and homage to everything, the 99 names of Allah. Man, I do a lot of things and just pondering on those. I have those in my phone, and I go over those every day. I ain't all the way proficient in the proper pronunciation, but I go over the 99 every single day. Every day. Like, my wife, my empress be like, what you talking about? And then she'd be like, oh, I know what you're doing. I'll go to prayers. I do the call of prayer. I love those things. When I'm jogging, that's what I do. Alhamdulillah. Allahu Akbar. I love the sweet sound. The call of prayer. And once you manifest things and you think things for self, you give homage to the God within. There's nothing wrong with that. And like Noble Alonzo said, yes, it changes you. It amazing. You'll be like, damn, I know all this. Yeah. Yes, you do. Yes. It's very simple. You know a million rap songs. It's no different.
Islam look different.
I'm serious. It's no different if you're really serious. Because look, this is something that you can do every day. Just imagine if you do it in the morning when you get up, and when you get up in the evening, and at night, or every time you take a break, you go over your Moorish Quran and your benediction. Man, you gonna remember that once Alonzo stand, we gonna be saying together like boom, 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 and the business of Allah, it's gonna be so simple because you're going over it. It should. So just in case Alonzo ain't there, you be like, oh, this nothing. Why? Because we all doing it. We do things together to back up our brother. So when he do things, they say they want to hear us all together. When we at our third event, our Trinity event, it's going to be all different. We're going to be performing. We're going to be saying some things together. It's going to be a lot of different things. It's going to be pinning. We're going to be synchronized. And that's something that we all should know. Islam? So I give gratitude to that, man. Yes, I slow down, Moors. That's what this is about. And let's continue to be honorable. Let's continue to walk in truth, and let's continue to be vessels. But yeah, nobles, take your time and go over that map, your Moorish American prayer. That should be something simple. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Allah is my guide, my protector, and salvation by night and by day through His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. We give homage to that. We give homage to our benediction. We respect all the laws and the prophets. When you understand that, you have so much peace.
Yes, Mom.
Anybody else, nobles? It was a good. I give gratitude, man. So I challenge y'all, man. Next week where we at in chapter 8 of our Moorish Quran? Yep. Emperor said, yep.
Yeah.
We'll be in 8. And Saturday in our Adapt teaching, we in Law Governs All Events. We're going to continue to synchronize those teachings, man. So once again, man, I give gratitude, Morris, everyone that logged in on YouTube. Thanks for the donations that donated. Thank you out of the kindness of your heart, no matter what it was. I give honors to that. But yep, it's Cash App $KG Bay. But anyone want to do the Moorish American prayer? And then Alonzo, will you do our benediction, Noble?
Islam.
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation by night and by day. Through His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Shalom Alakim, Ayah Ash'aya, Hotep, Islam. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 peace. Morris, peace.
Peace. Peace.
Peace, peace, peace. Oh, I'm sorry.
May the benediction of Allah be upon thee and thine always, as thou shalt strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thine acts of love upon thy brethren, and do the best to shun thine evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that you might nourish the souls of men. Let truth be the shield in the manifest battle of falsehood. Know that Moors need not to pick the locks of the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, the key to salvation already rests within thine own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconsistency, there still is the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah protect thee, guide thee, preserve thee, lengthen thy age, and give thee everlasting peace. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Haq, Ya Muhammad, Islam, Ashe, peace, peace, peace,
Peace, peace, peace, peace, peace, peace, peace, peace. Love y'all nobles, man.
Peace, 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 and love.
I see y'all tomorrow. I'm trying to get home early tomorrow, so for Lamarck's Monday motivation. So I should be here for everything. And gratitude.
Islam.
And I know we probably want to talk. I know if we got any more information, Lamarck, if we want to talk about the book, everything, we can talk about that as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Islam.
Gratitude,
Islam.
nobles.
Do that. All right.
Gratitude,
Peace,
Morris.
love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace.
Peace.
So gratitude, everybody that logged on YouTube. I give gratitude. We do Sunday school every Sunday at 2 p.m. AZ time zone. And we do our adapt study every Saturday at 10 a.m. AZ time zone. I wish a lot of Moors that's checking us out on YouTube, please check out our temple and school webpage at bbtsciencetemple.com. Check us out, man, for books and literature, mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z. And for all your Moorish American regalia and much, much more, it's moorishhaberdasher.com. Peace and love.